Plot summary of Breaking Night by Liz Murray. In the 1980s, Elizabeth Murray grows up in New York City's Bronx. Lisa Murray is her older sister, and her parents' names are Peter Finnerty and Jean Murray, but she calls them Daddy and M all through her memoir. When Daddy met Ma in the 1970s, he was a sweet and smart student. Both grew up in homes where they were hurt emotionally. They fell in love, but both of them started using drugs, like heroin and cocaine, more and more. By the end of the decade, they were both full-fledged addicts. When Daddy went to jail for pretending to be a doctor and selling painkillers, things got worse for them. This left Ma pregnant with Liz and taking care of Lisa. Liz will be 3 years old when her father gets out of jail. Liz sees her parents use cocaine and other drugs as she grows up. She gets used to waiting in line with her legally blind mother, who is getting welfare checks. These checks give the family a steady source of income, but Mom and Dad spend most of the money on drugs, leaving only a little for food and utilities. Liz goes to school in the Bronx, but it's hard for her to pay attention because she doesn't get much sleep or food, and her parents fight and get high all day long, making it hard for her to do her homework. She skips school and learns to throw away letters from the truancy officer before her parents read them. But she also learns to read by looking through her father's old books, and she always passes her end-of-year tests and moves up to the next grade. Liz goes to see Ma's friend Ron when she is still a young girl. Ron gives money, food, and drugs to Ma and the rest of the family. He also sexually abuses Liz several times, and at one point he tells Liz and Lisa to show him their private parts. Ma is so upset when Liz tells her the truth about Ron that she has a nervous breakdown. After that, doctors check on Liz and find that Ron has hurt her many times. Liz feels like things will never be normal for her again. She never tells Ma that she kept quiet for months about being abused because she wanted Ron to keep taking care of her and her family. Over the next few years, Ma has several mental breakdowns. This is partly because she uses drugs more than ever and partly because schizophrenia and other mental disorders run in her family. When Ma isn't around, Daddy steps up as a parent and gets good at making sure his kids have enough food. But during this time, Liz finds out that Daddy had another daughter, Meredith, from a previous relationship. When Meredith was only 2 years old, Daddy left her behind. Liz also finds out that her mother has been given an AIDS diagnosis. Liz doesn't know exactly what this means, but she has a feeling that her mother won't be around for much longer. Liz hangs out with her friends more and more. She also finds ways for herself to make money. But when Ma gets home from the hospital, she takes Liz's money and buys drugs with it. Ma also starts to hang out more with Brick, an alcoholic security guard. She finally breaks up with Daddy and moves Lisa in with Brick. Liz stays with Daddy. Around this time, however, Liz is sent to live in a state home because she has behavioral problems and hasn't been to school. Liz is unhappy there, but after talking to a psychologist, she is allowed to move in with Lisa, Emma, and Brick. Liz has a hard time living with Brick, but once she starts middle school, she starts to have fun. There, she meets Samantha, or Sam, who becomes a close friend. She and Sam start to skip school and look around New York City. As usual, Liz is careful to make sure her parents don't find out the truth about her not going to school. In the meantime, Ma's health keeps getting worse. Liz meets Carlos Marcano around the time she starts high school. He is a very nice boy. She, Carlos, and Sam spend more time with each other, and they come up with a plan to leave New York one day. Liz starts going out with Carlos, and she stops spending any time at Brick's house. Liz and Sam start living with friends, and almost all of their time is spent with Carlos. Carlos brags that his family is going to leave him a lot of money. He spends a lot of money on his friends and buys Liz and Sam all the food they need. Liz, on the other hand, sees that Carlos also talks to a lot of women. She starts to understand that he sells drugs and uses cocaine himself. She doesn't believe Carlos when he says he loves her, but she's afraid to leave him. Then, all of a sudden, Lisa calls Liz and tells her that Ma has died of AIDS. Liz sees her family for the first time in months. She goes back to staying with Carlos after the funeral. But she starts to worry that Carlos might hurt her or that he will leave her soon. She decides to stay at the homes of her friends and starts making plans to go back to high school and finish. Even though she is already 17, she goes to the Humanities Preparatory Academy, which is an experimental school for troubled students and dropouts. Perry Weiner is a teacher who is in charge of the HPA. Liz likes him right away. She plans to work hard and finish high school. Liz does well enough in high school that she can finish in half the time it usually takes. During this time, she lives with her friends and gets food and clothes from organizations for young people like The Door. She gets a job as a political canvasser and starts to love history, theater, and the English language. By the time she graduates, she will have earned grades that are almost perfect. Her teachers, especially Perry Weiner, have also been good examples for her. Liz starts spending more time with her father and sister, too. When Daddy tells her he has HIV, Liz doesn't run away from her family like she did when her mother was diagnosed. Instead, she tries to be kind to Daddy, just like she did with her mother. Liz's guidance counselor tells her that she should only apply to good colleges. Liz does this, but she knows she needs to find scholarship money first. With the help of her counselor, she applies for the prestigious New York Times scholarship, which could give her enough money to pay for Harvard. She can't believe it when she wins the Times scholarship over tens of thousands of other talented people. She will also go to Harvard. Liz says in the epilogue that she will graduate from Harvard in 2009. She still spends time with her family while she is in college. Daddy writes Liz a letter while he is at Harvard. The last line says, "Thank you for making us a family again." Sam is now happily married, Lisa has graduated from college and is a teacher for autistic children, and Liz goes all over the world to tell her amazing true story.
About the author. Liz Murray was raised in the Bronx by her two drug-addicted parents. Her mother died of AIDS in 1996, and she was homeless for most of her teenage years. But Murray finished the Humanities Preparatory Academy in Manhattan in just 2 years. After that, she won a scholarship from the New York Times and was accepted to Harvard University. Murray is a motivational speaker right now, and Breaking Night is a detailed account of her life.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.